Once Upon a Time in America is a tale about crime, time, love, friendship, violence, betrayal, Judaism, idealism, sexual violence, and homosexuality. In 2026, as we become an increasingly open and theoretically understanding society, not that this is necessarily a bad thing, analysing text via focusing on homosexual discourses has become an increasingly valued way of interpreting art. But how does this translate to the film? With discussions about homosexuality at the forefront of my mind during my most recent viewing of Once Upon a Time in America, I noticed that Noodles and Max might be more than friends after all. Their friendship is the basis of the whole narrative, as the only traces their relationship from childhood to their old age. The relationship between Max and Noodles has always been tumultuous, as their power dynamics seem to fluctuate and control their interpretation of one another. From childhood, it is evident that Noodles idealizes Max and the power he holds. He is older than Noodles and bigger in physical stature, riding around New York on top of a throne within a cart. This dynamic translates to adulthood, as Noodles has been in prison for his whole adolescence, and by the time he reaches adulthood, Max has already established a criminal empire. This empire consists of making political and criminal promises behind Noodles' back, foregrounding his betrayal of Noodles as the film progresses. When they are both old men, this dynamic persists. Secretary Bailey is now a powerful political figure who lives in a mansion, whilst Noodles is a shell of a man riddled by guilt. However, this power is fragile and presented as dangerous, as advancing to such a prominent political level leads to Jimmy and other more powerful figures wanting Max dead. These power dynamics that define their relationship throughout all stages of their life reflect the homosexual feelings that underpin their relationship. Now, how in the film do these repressed feelings manifest themselves? In the same way the power dynamics translate throughout the film's three different timelines, the repressed homosexuality translates as well. Within childhood, these feelings begin to emerge. Both Noodles and Max at the start of the film are in adolescence, the stage in childhood when you begin to properly explore your sexuality. And as the film progresses, it is evident that Noodles and Max use other women as a proxy way of sexually interacting with one another. In their younger years, this is emphasised through the character of Peggy, whom the gang are infatuated with. They both have sex with Peggy, and Max even gifts Noodles his first ever sexual experience. The gifting of sex from Max to Noodles is voyeuristic, as it expresses the desire of Max to be intimate with Noodles. Yet in his repressed state of sexuality, he cannot act on this impulse, so he must gift sex to the person he wishes to love. Furthermore, Max struggles to get an erection until he looks directly at Noodles, demonstrating the levels of his infatuation. The gifting of sex in childhood is intertwined with Max denying Noodles the opportunity to love properly and healthily. On a Jewish celebratory holiday, Fatima and his father have abandoned the restaurant and left it under the care of Deborah. Noodles uses this as an opportunity to pursue his childhood love, but Deborah renders it explicit that they cannot be together due to Noodles' criminal lifestyle. Despite their inherent differences, they still kiss, and right as this is happening, Max calls to Noodles through the door. And for the first time, the line "your mother is calling" is used by Deborah, revealing that from her perspective, this is a clear interruption.
Go on, run. Your mother's calling you.
This unveils something interesting, as Max gifts Noodles sex, yet denies him real emotional connection. Max can handle Noodles having meaningless interactions, as they are gangsters and criminal men, in a world where sex is used as necessary for their interpretation of masculinity. But by not allowing Noodles to act on his romantic feelings for Deborah, Max is subconsciously revealing that he wants these intense emotions from Noodles to be directed at him. The love and affection Noodles shows to Deborah should be directed at Maxie, in Max's envious head anyway. Broads never get in the way, Max proclaims. These emotions are evidently not just one way, as Noodles conforms to Max's wishes and desires. I believe for Noodles this conformity to Max's gifts and ideas is not out of repressed sexual feelings, but more out of a platonic masculine admiration. After the rivalry with local gangsters comes to a head, Noodles is jailed, after stabbing Bugsy and a police officer. Noodles is in jail for decades, and by the time he emerges, the boys have become men. He is released, and Max has established a vast criminal empire and immediately submerges Noodles into this world of violent debauchery. As soon as Noodles is released, these homosexual feelings evidently re-emerge. Max gifts Noodles sex once again, bringing him a woman who is contained within a hearse. They both gaze at the woman's body, pretending she is dead, before she jumps at Noodles and engages in sex with him. This reveals that their perverse interactions with sexuality in childhood have translated into adulthood. Women are perceived as sexual objects only, serving as things to enable their gratification. This is a repeat of the Peggy situation, and this is not the only childhood interaction to be repeated. Noodles arrives at the gang speakeasy in the heat of the Roaring Twenties. It is quintessentially representative of the consumeristic party-obsessed culture of 1920s America. He arrives and is reintroduced to the gang and Peggy, and then Deborah. Deborah had counted down the days that he was in prison, yet she has lost count, indicating how much time has passed and how big the rift has formed between them. The rift is caused by the differences in lifestyle. The criminal life is not compatible at all with Deborah's dreams and ambitions. Their love and passion for one another is evident, yet it is clearly fragile, resting on the foundations of an unrequited childhood love. Again, Max beckons Noodles and gazes enviously upon the pair, and the line is repeated, "Go ahead, Noodles, your mother is calling you." We never meet Noodles' parents in the film, and Deborah's references to Max as Noodles' mother suggest that he evidently views Max as a parental figure. Max denying Noodles the chance to interact with Deborah is key in forging Noodles' idealization of her, as he never really gets to know her on a human level. She isn't a person to him, she is just a construction of his desire. Her purity and angelic nature is. The interruption of the relationship between Noodles and Deborah by Max is reiterated through how Max interrupts Noodles' interactions with other women too. During the stealing of the diamonds, which is a violent affair, Noodles has consensually ambiguous sex with the girl who works there. Whether it is R or dark R play isn't entirely clear. What is clear is Max's jealousy, as he interrupts Noodles during the act. The woman Noodles is attacking later becomes Max's wife. This is repeated again later in the film, as in a cutscene, Max surprises Noodles in bed with his wife, Eve. The sexual envy is palpable. Furthermore, they only seem to have sex with the same women. Peggy, Carol, and if we interpret the scenes of Noodles as an old man as real, Deborah too. Noodles' attack on Deborah is the darkest scene of the film. It is irreversible and unforgivable, rendering Noodles as a man of heinous evil. The eroticism Carol seems to find in the violence of Noodles is completely absent here. It is a brutal attack spawned from malice and insecurity. Noodles opens up to Deborah about his time in jail and losing Dominic. In response, she tells him she's leaving to pursue her acting dream. This rejection is too painful for Noodles. If he cannot have her willingly, he will take her forcefully. This abhorrent behaviour is reflective of the gangster's perception of power. Take everything you can, no matter the cost. There is no tangible emotional connection between Deborah and Noodles, in my opinion. It feels like a relationship defined by idealization. The sense of distance between the two of the characters is captured cinematically. Leone geniusly positions Noodles in a perpetual state of gazing at Deborah. But whenever he gets to attempt to know her on a deeply personal level, Max interrupts them. What I'm trying to say here is that because of Max's consistent interruptions, Noodles never gets to know Deborah personally. She remains the embodiment of purity to him. If this purity cannot be accessed by Noodles, he must take it away. After his idealization is shattered, he resorts to how he and the gang have attained anything in society, using brutal violence. This does not justify the attack on Deborah. It just recontextualizes the clear homoerotic feelings between Max and Noodles. This reveals the intense impact Max and Noodles have on one another's sexual interests, as Max's actions were key in Noodles' construction of Deborah. Furthermore, Max and Noodles sexually interact with the same women, but in the order of Noodles sleeping with them, and then Max does, thus unveiling that Max has some desire to sleep with Noodles, or at least be sexually aligned with him. This shared interaction the two have with women climaxes at the end of the film. Max has married Deborah and had a child with her. If he cannot be with Noodles, he feels the need to take his place and live his life, in a way becoming the person he loves. The time we spend with Noodles and Max as old men has been critically analysed by many as an opium-fueled dream, depicting Noodles' subconscious desires. If we interpret this section as a dream, what does it suggest about Noodles' desires? All videos state that this repressed relationship is centered around Max's clear desire for Noodles. But relationships like this are not just one way. The role Max plays in Noodles' consciousness is one of admiration. Noodles has always perceived him as superior to himself. Look at his introduction. Even in their last conversation, Leone returns to their childhood, revealing that Noodles will not kill Max due to the bond that they share. In his guilt-ridden state of having killed Max accidentally, Noodles constructs a world where his admiration and respect for Max is used against him, positioning him as the victim within his own life. His life has been stolen from him, and by not killing Max, he reclaims a sense of moral power. But this is fleeting, and Leone emphasizes this as the film does not end in Noodles' delusion. We return to the opium den, where the reality of his life is presented to the audience. He is alone, with no one. No friends, no lover, and no family. Just drugs, which enable a psychological escape into a world in which the absence of these connections is Max's fault.
This film is amazing, and I could talk about the complexities of their relationship all day. It is a testimony to the artistic strength of Leone's craft. It is layered with ambiguous relationships that can be interpreted in multiple different ways. But I believe the homoerotic nature of Noodles and Max's friendship has completely reshaped my understanding of the film. I'm sure upon further rewatches, my opinion on the film will only develop further.